Hello friends, welcome to the Fortigate Firewall training series session 11. In today's session, we will see DNS topic. What is DNS, how DNS work, types of DNS queries, types of DNS records, and how to configure DNS on Fortigate Firewall. So let's start. What is DNS? DNS stands for Domain Name System. It is like a phone book of the internet, how we save numbers in the cell phone. Instead of remembering IP addresses like 142, 250, 183.14, we can remember the names like website names google.com, amazon.com, facebook.com, Gmail. Like how we save in the numbers on the mobile phone. We can't remember multiple numbers as a human. So we save as a using words so that we can remember the person names, words, places name, and we can search using the names. So same way it works in the network DNS for the IP addresses. You just type a domain name like google.com and DNS translate it into the correct IP addresses in the backend. And each and every website has a unique IP address so that we can reach to the website correctly. So let's see how DNS resolution works in the system or network. So when user or we type any website in the browser and we hit enter, what exact happens in the background until we receive the page of that website. So initially it checks in the browser cache, whatever browser you are using, Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Opera Mini, Brave, whatever browser you are using, it checks in the cache memory if that website is available in the cache. If that website is not available in the cache memory, it will check for the operating system cache. Even operating system stores the cache data so that whenever user request for the same website within the that threshold value within the least time, it will provide the details from that cache memory instead of going to the original server. So suppose if that website is not available in the operating system cache memory also, it reaches to the recursive resolver, which is our ISP or our internet service provider, any Airtel, Tata, BSNL, VI, any kind of whatever your ISP, it reaches to their DNS or public DNS like Google, Cloudflare. So it checks in their cache memory. If not found in the their server also, resolver asks to the root server. So ISP DNS server will send a request to the root server. So suppose we have amazon.com. So recursive. So ISP DNS server asks for the .com, .net, .in root server. So it requests root server. Root server also doesn't have the all details. So it asks, but root server knows where .com, .net, .in, .government, these top level domains stored. It has the IP addresses of that top level domain server details. So it provides the IP address of the top level domain server. So then recursive server, once recursive resolver server receives the IP address of the top level domain server, it requests to the top level domain server like this is my website amazon.com. I am trying to reach. Please provide the IP address for this website. So top level domain server also doesn't store the IP addresses of the website. So it just stores the .com, .net, but it knows where this website is stored on which server and who can provide the IP address of this website. So it provides the IP address of that server, which also called the authoritative name server. So then ISP DNS server sends the request to the authoritative name server, like provide me the IP address of this domain like example.com or www.example.com, whatever URL we have entered in the browser or amazon.com, facebook.com. So authoritative server provides the IP address of that website. Once that IP address receives the browser or our machine, it will send a request to the server using that IP address. So this is how DNS resolves our domain name into IP addresses or IP addresses into domain names. Sometimes we enter the IP addresses instead of domain names. So in that case also it works. So it has a different types of queries also to get the IP address from the domain name or domain name from the IP addresses. So first is recursive DNS query. In this type, DNS resolver does all work for us. It queries multiple servers until it finds the final answer. Without reaching back to our ISP server, it sends one request to first root server, then top level domain, and then authoritative directly. Let's understand in a image here. So this is our host machine. From this machine, I am trying to access the example.org, www.example.org. So it will check first its browser cache. If it is not found there, then it will check for the operating system cache memory. If it is there, it will provide the result there only. Else, it will go for the local DNS server. If we have in the network, it will check there. If it won't found there, then it will go for the ISP. In ISP devices, if it found there, it will reply immediately. Else, ISP device will send request to the root server. So this is the website user is asking, please provide me the IP address for this website or domain name. So in this .org, we can see the top level top level domain. So root server doesn't know the IP address of that domain, so it send request, but it knows the where top level domain exists .org. So it send request to the top level domain server. Here we can see first request to the server DNS server, then root server, second request, and third request to the top level domain server. So top level domain checks for the .org, but it doesn't have the IP address of that domain. But it knows where it stores the IP address of this domain. So it gives the IP address of this authoritative DNS server and it initiates a request from its side to the authoritative DNS server. Here we can see fourth request here. So authoritative server checks example.org. It has the IP address. So it will reply to the top level domain server, then top level to root DNS server to local DNS to user. So this way it works as a in a recursive DNS query. Each and every time request won't come back to the ISP server or local DNS server. So once we initiate the traffic, this ISP server will take care the or remaining servers take care of the request and it shares the IP address in the end of the request. But in iterative DNS query, each server gives the best possible answer but not the final one. The resolver keeps asking different servers step by step. So here we can see in the flow diagram, this is our user machine, host machine. So this user is trying to access the client.office.com. So it will reach to the local DNS. Once checking the browser cache and OS cache, then it will go for the, so here we can see local DNS server is requesting to the root DNS server. So DNS server is not sending directly to the top level domain. It is responding back to the local DNS resolver. So it is providing IP address of this top level domain server to the local DNS resolver. So this local DNS resolver will initiate new request to the top level domain like this is website and please provide the IP address. So this server also doesn't have the IP address, so but it knows where it stores. So it gives the IP address of this authoritative DNS server based on the .net, .org, .in, .government. So then local DNS server again initiate new request to the authoritative DNS server. And authoritative DNS server has the IP address of this website or domain. So it provides the IP address to the local DNS server. It stores in its cache memory until it completes the lease time or finishes the lease time. And it provides that IP address to the user also. So this way it works in a iterative and recursive queries. So we'll see in the cache also how in the browser if it is showing from the cache or it is showing in the new request. First initiate the debugging. then reach to the network and search amazon.com. So our request is completed. So here we can see 200. Okay, status code 200. Referrer policy strict origin when crossing. So suppose if I, here we can see 200 okay only. But if I reload the page, it will show from the cache here in the 200 okay tab. Reload it. So reload completed. So any request. So here we can see 200 okay from disk cache. It is not going to the original server. Initially it was going to the original. If I take any request from disk cache, 200 okay from disk cache. Might these are different requests, so it is showing from the directly. But maximum if we see from disk cache, it is giving reply from the cache memory only. DNS has the record types to identify the different services like IPv4 address, IPv6 address, if it is canonical name, MX record, pointer, what kind of service our user wants to request based to identify that thing. DNS uses different types of records. So I have mentioned here few records. So first record is a record. So this maps domain to IPv4 address. So suppose any user wants to access the website which has the IPv4, that website hosted on IPv4 address, suppose like here example.com, which is hosted on 93.184.216.34, means that record types is a record. So suppose for the IPv6 address record, it uses the 4 times A to identify what kind of user request. Then canonical name. Many times we don't enter the full name of the URL. So suppose URL name is www.example.com, but we enter the example.com. We don't enter www.google.com. We simply enter google.com. So canonical name or canonical record uses to identify the alias of that website or domain name. Then MX record for the mail exchange. If any request is coming for the mail exchange, that identify as a MX record. Then pointer record for the reverse DNS lookup. Mainly we enter the google.com and we get the IP address of that google.com. But in some cases we use the IP addresses. In that case we have to, means DNS resolution has to work in a reverse way. To identify that, it uses the pointer record. So suppose sometimes IP addresses can get changed. If any company goes down that IP address, or if any server goes down, or if an organization releases the server, that IP address will get released. So any other organization can use that IP addresses. In that case also DNS name won't change. If we enter the google.com also, we will get the result same. Or amazon.com will get result same. If in backend, if they change the IP address or location, any kind of things changes there in the backend, it doesn't matter. It provides the same result. So let's see how to configure DNS on the Fortinet firewall. To configure the DNS on the firewall, navigate to Network and DNS tab here. So here we can use the Fortinet DNS servers also. And if you have internal DNS servers, you can use that one also. So to use the Fortinet servers, we have to select this use FortiGuard server tab. For internal, select specify. So if you select specify, you can change these IP addresses like 88888. I'm going for the Google primary DNS and then secondary server Fortinet. So local domain name if you have, you can use that one also, or you can mention different multiple domain name also. Here protocol numbers or port numbers we can use. WAN interface IP address here it is showing. So it is my VMware, so it is showing the private IP address. So click apply to save changes. So it changed to the Google DNS now. So if I go somewhere and come back, it is showing Google DNS and how much time it is taking to reach to the server, showing here 20 millisecond and 10 millisecond. To use the FortiGuard servers, select FortiGuard. Automatically it will take the IP addresses. If you want to use the domain name, you can mention the domain name, and here it is showing the time to reach, then certificates, server host names, and the WAN interface. Click OK to save. So this way we can configure the DNS in the Fortinet firewall. If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe the channel to continue the series with us. Also share with your friends who wants to study the cybersecurity or firewall security.